The air still, lost for words. I never even noticed what color the sea was. I remember sitting while we watched the water rise, break out into the open. I listened, and it was my silence, washing, flushed out with the water and its color azure.
Hello everyone and welcome to Gallery Image for this special presentation of the new exhibition The Colour of Water by the photographer Sarah Shore. Sarah, thank you for being here in person.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
It must have been a real challenge putting on an exhibition like this during the pandemic.
It's been really great to make work in the pandemic because what else can we do? But putting on an exhibition, you have to be a little bit flexible because we don't know if we're going to be virtual or in person. And so we have a little bit of both prepared.
Can you tell us a little bit about the idea behind the colour of water as the theme of your exhibition?
Sure. It starts with a sort of fascination with the different colors that I see in the Danish waterscape. And it has a larger, more theoretical question that sort of comes when you think about what is the color of water? Well, as we know, if we hold up a glass of water, it's clear. So it's not a question that you can really answer. And it changes with this kind of mood you're in or the quality of the light. So it's really about seeing.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, if we look at it, this is one of the first images that greets us when we go into the gallery. For me, when I saw it, I thought, well, it's a painting because we get this very vibrant splash of colour. But then when you get closer, then you're like, no, I can see the photography in it. Can you say, what are we actually seeing here? Is this photography? Is it painting?
It starts with actually mixing paint. And the first time I went winter bathing was on the anniversary of my father's death, actually. And I was so struck by the vibrancy of the color. And I thought, what if I could take this moment in time and the angle of this light and paint a room this color? And so you can see that some of the images are actually physical paint chips that are composited with images of the figure and paintings that I've made. The paintings are really about mixing color and seeing color. When you first put out paint, it's never that rich. You know, as it dries, it changes. And so I really love just the physical act of mixing colors.
I noticed that a lot of your painting, or a lot of the images that you have here have to do with swimming, and I know you're a keen swimmer. Can you talk about that aspect? What kind of inspiration do you draw from immersing yourself in the waters around Aarhus?
I love, first of all, the moment when you just go underwater. I think that there's so much beauty in this, both the bubbles and the way it's changing, but also the way it changes the way that you think. You're doing something different with your air. Sometimes the skin on your body is changing and you're getting goosebumps. Sometimes the color of your own skin is changing. I'm a researcher as well. And when I am doing a lot of reading and practicing work, I think some of my more interesting ideas come about when I'm swimming.
And on the idea of changing, as we go around and look at these images, that's when we notice that the color palette is really shifting from some vibrant greens over there to this very deep kind of violet. Can you maybe say, what is the significance of this sort of shifting color imagery throughout the exhibition?
Yeah, so the exhibition and the book, which you'll see a little bit later, are both organized by color. There's sort of two organizing factors. One is a comment on colored charts and colored standards. And the second is it's inspired by the stairways into the water in Denmark. And you'll see about the way that the book folds. It's very related to the models that I use. For example, it's really important to me to use models who are different ages. So I work with models who are 20 years older than me or more, and 20 years younger than me as well. I'm really interested in how age manifests in the body. For example, in water, I think that age is really elusive. You have mature people who just look like children, like they're just swimming around, and so, you know, they're weightless, and the aches and pains go away, and we can kind of see every age that we have ever been. So that's something that is part of this image.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the images in here, because as we go through into the other room in the exhibition, then the colors become a bit more fantastic in the sense that they're not colors that we naturally associate with water. So we get these very vibrant reds or purples or ones with a very bright splash of orange. So, can you say a little something about what brought you to the idea of these types of colors to be associated with water?
So the first time, not that I went into the water, but the first time I visited one of the winter bathing clubs here, the water was actually red. And various scientists that I've talked to have called it an algal bloom. So it's some environmental disruption that's happening that sometimes causes the water to be reddish and pink. And sometimes we don't notice these shifts actually because we have this idea that water is blue. So noticing the shifts in colors may also link to some larger factors.
So there are some advantages to winter bathing that people are always telling me to do it for my health,
wonderful.
But it's also artistic inspiration. And so we also have this interactive piece that people can participate in who are watching it, called the Algorithmic Sea, that you've done with some collaborators. Yeah, what can you tell us about, what are we looking at here?
So first of all, if you who are watching this want to try this at home, you can go to www.algorithmicsea.com and you can actually submit one of your water photos, and then one of your colors will come in here and bounce on our sea here. And this is a piece that I have made together with my two collaborators, Gabriel Pereira and Carlos Oliveira. And they are creative coders, programmers, as well as researchers and artists. And I really, as an artist, love working with other artists. And this project was actually inspired by a geologist named Abraham Gottlieb Werner, who made these color charts. And he was trying to create a color standard based on minerals. And it's a project about how computers see color. So we've been talking a lot about the human aspect and the emotional aspect of seeing color. But in this conversation with them, I got to learn a lot and experiment a lot about, you know, Google sees color differently than Microsoft, for example.
Yeah, and it seems like a great interactive exhibit for people to take part in. And you've got another one up here which involves a magic trick that you promised to show us.
Yeah, well, everyone loves magic.
Right.
Well,
and so this is the piece Longing Messages. And this was actually inspired during the pandemic.
Right. So in these bottles, if you take a closer look, you'll actually recognize some of the images from the exhibit. And in an earlier conversation, Stephen, you were asking me about the sort of drafts and versions that go into one work. And so this piece, even though I've been working with digital composites, I've been trying to kind of make photography wet again. So, you know, just add water, for example, and see what happens. Because that's what I love about the swimming and seeing water, is it's different every time. And in this piece called Longing Messages, I've created all these messages in a bottle. And if you come to the exhibition, you can add what you're longing for during the pandemic, and you can bring it in here. And you can see here we also have some of the metaballs from the Algorithmic Sea, because there's an overlap here. Yeah. So I hope you can come to the gallery and try this.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. And I already know what I would put in there, which is I'm longing for a haircut of some kind, like my players. But
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, thank you for showing us around some parts of the exhibition, and I hope people really have time to come and visit it when the gallery opens full time in April.
My name is Beata Cegielska. I am director of Gallery Image, which is public gallery, and and it was founded in 1977.
We'll take a look at the fantastic book that's published with the exhibition in a moment, but this is part of the photo book week, which Gallery Image also organizes every year.
The books are very important for artists, because exhibition passes. It's for a moment, and the book stays forever. So.
Yeah, and I just want to call attention to the actual book, and maybe Sarah, you can show us this, but this is not just a regular book, this is a work of art in its own right. So if you maybe can open it up for us and then
Sure.
show us what is inside.
Sure. So here is the book. It comes out. I'll just ask you to hold the box.
I'll take the case.
Yeah. And it's an accordion book, and the beautiful thing about accordion book is that it has a sort of innate movement, and so it almost flips itself as I'm opening it, and it was inspired by the shape of a stairway, and it's organized by colors.
Okay, and thanks for showing us that, and thanks for showing us around Gallery Image in this exhibition. And so thanks to you, Sarah and Beata.